from the heart of Delta State. You are tuned in to SRTV Asaba.
Good morning and welcome to SRTV Morning News Asaba. I am Obama Gabriel Joy and thank you for joining us. Here are the stories making headlines this morning across the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the federal government rejected ransom demands from kidnappers who abducted school children and teachers in Oyo State, insisting the victims were rescued through intelligence-led military operations. In Osun State, the secretary to the state government, Teslim Igbalaye, regains his freedom after being detained by the police. Ahead of the August 15 governorship election, candidates of the 14 political parties in Osun State signed a peace accord with calls for a peaceful poll. The Ogun State Police Command launches a manhunt for gunmen who reportedly abducted suspected students from a private hostel in Ikwara. Flooding disrupts traffic on the Benin-Ore-Ijebu-Ode Expressway, leaving motorists stranded for hours. In sports, Chukwuebuka Enekwechi makes history for Nigeria with gold in the men's shot put at the Commonwealth Games, while Toby Amusan settles for bronze in the 100-meter hurdles. And in entertainment, veteran actress Ngozi Nwosu receives a 25 million naira medical intervention from the Abia state government, while Ira Star reveals she recently underwent major surgery. Those are the headlines. Now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the federal government refused to negotiate with the kidnappers who abducted school children and teachers in Oriri, Oyo State. The president spoke on Thursday while receiving the Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja, and other traditional rulers from the state in Abuja. According to the president, the abductors demanded ransom and the release of detained members of their gangs. Now, the government rejected both demands. The victims were eventually rescued after 56 days in an intelligence-driven military operation. The May 15 attack reportedly involved about 39 pupils and 7 teachers. One of the teachers, Michael Oyedokun, was killed. The presidency says the rescue operation, which ended on July 10th, led to 8 arrests and the neutralization of several suspects. It says its decision to expand the Nigerian army from 8 to 12 divisions is partly a response to the security challenges exposed by incidents such as the Oyo abduction. It says the expansion will improve response times and strengthen military capacity to combat terrorism and banditry. That calls for stronger security cooperation as another security-related development unfolds in Osun State. The secretary to the Osun State government, Teslim Igbalaye, has been released from police custody. His release was announced on Thursday by Pelumi Olajengbesi of the Imole Campaign Council. The state police public relations officer, Abiodun Ojelabi, also confirmed the developments. Now, the detention had generated controversy with political actors demanding due process and respect for the rule of law. With the SSG now out of custody, attention has shifted back to the political activities ahead of the state's governorship election. Meanwhile, candidates of the 14 political parties contesting the August 15 Osun governorship election have signed a peace accord. Governor Ademola Adeleke, who is seeking re-election, signed the agreement. Representatives of the All Progressive Congress candidate, Bola Oyebamiji, and the African Democratic Congress candidate, Dr. Najim Salam, also signed on behalf of their candidates. Speaking at the event, Cardinal John, who represented the National Peace Committee, said political competition must not become a trigger for violence. He urged candidates and their supporters to conduct the remainder of the campaign with civility and respect for the law. In Ogun State, the Ogun State Police Command has launched a manhunt for gunmen who reportedly abducted an unspecified number of persons suspected to be students. The incident occurred on Wednesday night at the private hostel along Paraga Road in Ikwara. The hostel housed students of Gateway ICT Polytechnic who live off campus were attacked. The attack reportedly caused panic among students and residents, while conflicting reports emerged on social media over the number of victims. The institution's student union government has clarified that the incident did not occur within the Polytechnic campus. Now, the police say tactical teams and intelligence operatives are working to rescue the victims and apprehend the attackers. And security concerns are not the only challenge confronting residents and commuters this morning. For flooding.
Yes. Erosion, no, see, this is what we have been facing here since. So, Jesus, blood of
Flood
Jesus.
waters have submerged parts of the Ijebu-Ode Expressway, leaving motorists stranded for hours. The flooding occurred around the Ore corridor of Odigbo local government area of Ondo State, following several hours of rainfall. Parts of Ondo, Odigbo, Irele, Odeaye, and Igbokoda were also affected. Vehicles and houses were submerged, while properties worth millions of naira were reportedly damaged. There were, however, no reported deaths. The flooding created a major traffic gridlock on the expressway. Some motorists were forced to use the longer Okitipupa-Akinfosile motorshort route. Residents and drivers are calling for urgent intervention to prevent further damage and disruption. And from flooding to another environmental concern, this time in Lagos. The Lagos Waste Management Authority, LOMA, has sealed several shops and business premises along the Teju-Osho-Ojuelegba corridor. The agency says the premises were sealed over persistent, indiscriminate dumping of refuse on road medians. LOMA says the enforcement continued repeated warnings and continued non-compliance by traders. The affected premises will remain sealed until the owners comply with sanitation requirements. The agency says the move is aimed at protecting public health, restoring environmental order, and preventing further damage to public infrastructure. Meanwhile, efforts to strengthen food production are receiving attention in Ogun State. Senator Solomon Adeola has empowered 2,557 farmers in Ogun West with farm equipment, inputs, and cash grants. The beneficiaries received tractors, college tricycles, fertilizers, improved seeds, water pumps, power tillers, and other farming equipment. 10 tractors with full attachments and 250 haulage tricycles were among the items distributed. Now, each beneficiary also received 100,000 naira cash grants. The senator says the intervention is designed to complement the federal government's food security program and increase agricultural production. But agriculture and industry require another critical resource, electricity. And there is a new proposal in the Northeast aimed at tackling that challenge. The Northeast Development Commission has approved plans for a 100 billion naira solar power project. Now, the proposed project is expected to generate about 50 megawatts of electricity across the region. The commission says solar-powered systems will be deployed to schools, hospitals, markets, and other critical public infrastructure across the 6 states of the Northeast. The NEDC says inadequate electricity remains one of the biggest obstacles to economic development in the region. Its managing director, Mohammed Al-Khali, says the project is part of the Commission's transition from reconstruction to broader economic development. And as authorities work on long-term development, some communities are still dealing with the immediate consequences of extreme weather. In Kano, 5 people have been confirmed dead following a devastating rainstorm in Bichi local government area. The figure was confirmed by the executive secretary of the Kano State Emergency Management Agency. He said the earlier figure of 8 deaths reported by some outlets was incorrect. Officials from the emergency agency have visited the affected areas to assess the damage to houses and properties. A comprehensive report has been submitted to the state government for assistance to the victims. From disaster management, we move to another area where Nigerians have something to celebrate: sports. Nigeria has recorded a historic victory at the Commonwealth Games. Chukwuebuka Enekwechi has won gold in the men's shot put, becoming the first Nigerian to achieve the feat at the Games. Enekwechi produced a winning throw of 21.0 meters in Glasgow, Scotland. The 33-year-old secured the decisive throw on his penultimate attempt. Now the victory improves on the silver medal he won at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. It also marks a significant comeback after his 4th place finish at Birmingham 2022. And while Enekwechi climbed to the top of the podium, another Nigerian champion has had to settle for bronze. World record holder Tobi Amusan finished 3rd in the women's 100-meter hurdles. Amusan clocked 12.60 seconds in the final. Bahamas' Divine Charlton won gold in 12.33 seconds, while Jamaica's Megan Simmons took silver in 12.41 seconds. Amusan entered the final as the favorite after winning a heat in 12.19 seconds, but she could not reproduce that form in the final and missed the opportunity to win a 3rd consecutive Commonwealth Games title. And from the track and field arena to Morocco, where the Super Falcons are looking to recover from a disappointing start. Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie says Nigeria will bounce back from their shock defeat to Malawi at the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The defending champions lost 3-2 to tournament debutants Malawi in their opening match. Nnadozie accepted responsibility for the result, saying the defeat was painful, but insisting that the team gave everything on the pitch. The goalkeeper says the players have accepted responsibility and remain determined to recover in their next matches. And finally, we turn to entertainment, where 2 prominent Nigerian artists are making headlines for very different reasons. Veteran Nollywood actress Ngozi Nwosu has received a 25 million naira medical intervention from the Abia state government. Now, Governor Alex Oti approved the payment to the hospital where the actress is receiving treatment. The governor's senior special assistant on tourism and entertainment, Martins Justice, announced the development on Thursday. He said the payment fulfilled the governor's earlier promise to support the actress with her medical expenses. Meanwhile, Afrobeat star Ira Star has revealed that she is currently recovering from major surgery. The singer disclosed the development on her Instagram story. Ira Star apologized to fans for her reduced online presence, explaining that her recovery has been more complicated than initially expected. She asked fans for some time to rest and recover, and she assured them that she would return soon. The singer is also encouraging fans to pre-order her upcoming project. And before we go, here is the weather outlook for today, Friday, over parts of the Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe. More thunderstorms are expected later in the day across parts of Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, Jigawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba, and Adamawa states. Across the north-central region, cloudy conditions are expected in the morning, with isolated thunderstorms later in parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, and Plateau states. For the south, generally cloudy conditions are expected, with light rainfall possible later in parts of Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi, Abia, Imo, Delta, Edo, Rivers, Bayelsa, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states. Now, residents in flood-prone areas are advised to remain alert. Motorists should avoid flooded roads, while residents are advised to take precautions during thunderstorms. And where necessary, electrical appliances should be disconnected during thunderstorms. And that's it on SRTV Morning News here in Asaba. I'm Obawa Gabriel Joy. Thank you for joining us. Stay informed, stay safe, and have a beautiful weekend.